Hey everyone, I wanted to make a quick video going over grid layouts and hierarchy and layout design. Now, I think it's going to be especially important this week when we're creating those 5x7 cards. So what I did, and I'm going to share this with you in the announcements as well, is I found a great site that shows a visual of different professional grids and kind of how you can format them. And it goes over margins and the empty space in between and flow lines and modules and things of that nature. But it also shows us that when we start to lay things out this way, following along on this grid, we have some good spacing between the elements on our page. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy and paste this grid, this one actually right here. I'm just going to do copy image, and I'm going to go into InDesign, and I'm going to make a new 5x7 or 7x5, we'll say, just to make it easy, because you can do your cards either way. I'm going to do one page, and I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. We'll just kind of set this up. Now, some of you may notice, or maybe you didn't notice, but there's a specific way that I like to set up InDesign. So I like to go into the Essentials Classic workspace. And the reason why is it's just familiar with me. The new Essentials workspace is set up like this, and I don't feel like it has all of the things that you normally use open. So if you go into Essentials Classic, it seems to have like the pages, the layers, things like that already over in the side here. Again, just to kind of make it a little bit easier when you're trying to work along. So if you've been wondering what workspace I'm working in, I work in Essentials Classic. All right, so I just pasted this in, which is very ginormous. I'm gonna close it up, and I'm gonna go to Object, Fitting, Fit Content to Frame. And I'm going to try, oh, it looks like I kind of have my margin right, maybe a little bit smaller. Their margin's not that big. So this margin appears to be about 0.25, and I have it set up as 0.5. So I'm going to go to Layout, Margins, and adjust my margin to 0.25. Hit OK. And my columns and gutters are about the same. But what I want to do is I'm actually going to drop a ruler and put a full grid here, and then I can delete that photo. So you can see I've got my columns, I've got some rows set up, and I can make sure that these are even. I like to check things with the rectangle tool. It's just, I find it quick and easy to kind of do it that way. Fill it in so I can see what I'm doing. And those are not very even. Let's see. These are even, but I need to do a little bit of math here to get some even rows. So this is 4.5 inches high, and I need to have a 0.1667 gutter. So 0.1667 times 2 is equal to 0.3334 minus 4.5. So 4.166 divided by 3, 1.38. So each of these needs to be 1.38 about high. And you may be saying to yourself, huh? Trust me, I'm a math wizard. Not really, but I mean, I could be, right? All right. Let's move these ones up here. Move these ones down. And that's pretty much spot on. All right. Perfect. So again, this is just kind of setting up that grid. And the reason why is it's easier to just lay things out this way. So now we're going to talk a little bit about hierarchy. And hierarchy is how I am going to get someone to view things on my page in the order that I want them to see it. So let's say that I'm creating an advertisement. Okay, you guys are creating flashcards, I'm creating an advertisement. And my advertisement is for a yoga studio. So I'm gonna go grab a photo, a nice little yoga photo. This one's pretty cool. And I always use pexels.com to get my stock photos. They have really good stock photos and they're free to download. I was like, no thanks. I mean, you can feel free to thank the person. It's not a bad thing. And again, because this is going to be a print advertisement, what I'm going to do is I am going to change it in Photoshop to be CMYK, and this is my image that I'm going to change. And make a new folder in my week 1 called Yoga Ad. I've opened it up in Photoshop. I'm going to go up to image mode, change it from RGB to CMYK. And I also want it to be 300 DPI. Almost everything that you download off the web, even though it's a high-res photo, and I'm using air quotes right now, it's technically saved as 72 DPI, and for print, we need 300 DPI. So to change that in Photoshop, you're going to go to Image. Whoops, sorry. Image. Size. There it is. And where it shows 72, type in 300, and you'll notice that before it was an obscenely large size, and now I've changed it to 8 inches by 12 inches by doing that. And click OK. So it stays the same size technically. It's just that instead of being 72 pixels per inch and 75 inches high, it's now 300 pixels per inch, but only 12 inches high. So it scales it down and raises the amount of dots per inch. So I'm going to do a File, Save As now. And I'm going to put this new fixed version, I'm going to get it out of my downloads, and I'm going to put it in that folder I just made in week 1 for my yoga ad. And what I like to do is I like to make a folder inside and call it art and put all my art together. And I can close that out. And I'll go back into InDesign. And again, this is how I'm going to make someone's eye move through the screen or through the page the way I want them to. I'm going to draw my rectangle, and I'm going to go from this column to this column. This right here, this is my gutter that I have. I'm going to place my photo, so File, Place. There it is. And the place is really large. So I'm gonna use my white arrow key and select the image. I'm gonna go to Object, Fitting, and I want to fill the frame proportionally. And you'll notice I've got that space up at the top and bottom. So Object, Fitting, Fit Content Proportionally. Oh, whoops. No, that was right. Never mind. It expanded my rectangle. So Object, my first thing, fill frame proportionally. It just kind of showed you where it ran off. And let's say that you want to get a little bit more specific on how you get this. Maybe you want her head to be up here and show more of the mat. Go to the white arrow and click while holding Shift and Command at the same time, because we need to proportionally scale this. And just drag and proportionally scale it. And if you're not sure if you've proportionally scaled it, make sure that these two numbers are the same. So again, if you're kind of not sure, you can copy the first number and paste it into the second square. All right, so I have my image here. Now, let's say that I need to come up with a headline. So I want that headline to be the second most important thing on my page. So maybe it's now open yoga downtown. Maybe that's my headline. Well, what's a good font for a headline? Something that's going to stand out, something that's bold. So you can go into fonts.adobe.com and find that perfect font. Make sure that you're logged in. So you should see your face here if you use it. And if not, you can double check. But making sure that you are logged in with your Creative Cloud. So there's my Creative Cloud. Click on your face. Don't click on the gear, I guess. They kind of changed how this works. And we're going to go to Browse Fonts. Now I want a nice sans serif font for my headline, which is a font that doesn't have any of the feet. So from Adobe Fonts, I can select just sans serif, and it's going to change it to all sans serif fonts. Then it has recommendations. Well, I want this for a heading. So there we go. And I want it to have a thick weight, so be bold. But because I'm saying now open yoga downtown, I want it to kind of have a thin width. And I can look and see what it suggests. And I can even type in the sample text. Now open yoga downtown. And see. I kind of like this one. So I'm going to activate it. It's going to say, you've been successful. Well, that's good. All right. And it's called JAF Bernini Sans. Now I'm going to go back into InDesign. And you'll notice that I got this pop-up right here that says Creative Cloud 4 fonts were activated. So I draw my text box right here. Put my type tool in there. I'm going to go up and click on the arrow. And the easiest way to get to it is to just show my activated fonts by clicking on this little cloud right here. So I have a lot of activated fonts right now. And that one was called, let's see, JAF. I feel like I should have remembered that. JAF. Where are you? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. It's not showing up yet. Recently added. Oh, Bernina. It did under Bernina. There we go. So I'm going to go with compressed extra bold. I'm going to say, now open Yoga Downtown. And I'm going to make this bigger. And the quick key for making text bigger is if you hold down Shift Command and hit the period when you have your type selected. See, it does it like 2 points at a time. Well, again, I'm thinking my hierarchy. I really, really want this to stand out. I want it to stand out that now it's open. So I'm going to make now open the biggest part of my headline and Yoga Downtown the second biggest. So see how I've already created hierarchy just within my headline. And then maybe I want to put a little bit of a blurb. Well, my text box, it's okay. Here's a little tip. It's okay if your descenders, like the bottom part of the G, are running a little bit outside and into the space of your gutters in between your columns and your rows. Remember how we were talking about that visual alignment? This is one of those things where that's kind of visual alignment. Just getting that G to slightly dip in rather than having it the bottom of the G lined up on the line. All right, I'm going to draw another text box now. Make sure it's right the top. And this is where I'm going to put my body copy. So again, I need to start thinking, all right, body copy. That's really what I want people to read last, honestly, because it's going to be a paragraph of text. And not everybody's going to read this. So that's going to be my smallest text. And maybe because my headline is a sans serif font, I want my body copy to be a serif font, which is a font with feet. Okay? So I can go in and I'm going to deactivate these filters by just clicking off. And right here, where the little cone is, I'm going to only look at my serif fonts. And again, I want something simple and easy to read. So Century is simple and easy to read. This is simple and easy to read. Something like this, not simple and easy to read. It's very stylized. So you don't want to use a stylized font for your body copy. You want, again, this one, very stylized and bold, hard to read. So this, all caps, very bad for body copy. All caps, very bad for body copy. So I'm going to choose Garamond, actually. And I'm going to put in, maybe come and visit the newest yoga studio downtown. We have classes to fit every student, from beginner to advanced. You will find the fit you need to get your Zen on. And 12-point type's a little bit big for this for me. So I'm going to bring it down to maybe 10-point type. And I'm going to manually shift enter and bring that line down here from beginner to advanced. And again, I'm kind of fixing that rag. And then what I want to do is I'm going to manually just give a little bit more space. And I'm going to center this text, I think, vertically within this column. So now I've selected my text box with my black arrow, and I want to go up to Object and Text Frame Options. And my vertical justification, I want to change it from top to center, and it's going to vertically justify my text in the center of my text box. Right there for me. Now next I need to put where I'm located, right? So people can find me. I would say that that's the third most important thing on my page. So I'm going to draw my text box down here. And I'm going to use the same Bernia Sans, because I don't want to, oh, whoops, I gotta get rid of that filter. Clear those filters. There we go. Bernia Sans. I'm just gonna go with bold this time instead of the extra bold, because I don't want to mix two different sans serif fonts and two different serif fonts together. I can mix this one sans serif with one serif font, and really, this is kind of a small page, so 2 fonts is enough for this page. And I'm going to put the address. So maybe they're located at 100 Main Street, Anytown, Mass, and then their phone number. Maybe it's 508-000-0000. And of course, they probably have a website, yogastudio.com. And then maybe I want to say left on Island Street, right on Main Street as you enter downtown Anytown. All right, so again, this is a whole lot of information. So kind of what I did in my headline, I still need some hierarchy on my information here. So maybe I want to actually center this in my center this paragraph text like this, and maybe bring the town up on the same line with the street address, but I want to separate it a little bit. So I'm going to hit Shift, and that line that's all the way to the right-hand corner of my keyboard, right under the Delete key. There we go. Maybe add 3 spaces between. And I'm going to make the street address a little bit bigger, because again, this is a print ad, so somebody's getting this in the mail. And then maybe I'll put the same thing, 3 spaces and 3 spaces between the phone number and the website, because people might call, but they can't click on this link, and maybe make that a little bit bigger. Then I've got this address right here. So let's see what else we have under Bernia Sans. What else? What other options do I have? Compressed and extra compressed. Well, I don't really want this to be that bold. So maybe I need to go back to Garamond, which is what I'm using here, and see what options they have. Just a Garamond italic might be great, and a little bit smaller, for some directions. And now that I'm looking at it, I think I'm going to put these on the separate line, put this, do a little return, and just in case if people want to call, I'm going to make the phone number a little bit bigger. People want to call and see what, when my classes are or how much things cost, because I haven't put it on my ad. All right, there we go. All right, so I've put this ad together. I haven't even added any color yet, but I've subconsciously directed my viewer to look at my information in a certain order. First thing they are going to notice. Now, I want you all to look away from the screen, completely look away from the screen, or close your eyes and look back. What do you see first? You see her. Then you see this, now open. Then you see Yoga Downtown. Then you see where it's located. Then you will go in and read about me. And that's exactly what I want you to do. I've managed to make your eye go 1, 2, 3, 4, which is exactly what I want you to do. I've pulled you in with this photo. Oh, yoga. Oh, now open. It's downtown. Where's it located? Oh, let me read a little bit about them. And that is how we create hierarchy and lay something out on a grid. And this is something that you will do in every type of layout that you do. It's your job as the designer to make the viewer's eye move around this page. You hold that power in how you design something and with the hierarchy in using those design principles. Now, I can even go in and add a little bit of color subtly to wrap this all together. I'm gonna go and I am going to eyedrop this kind of deep purple right here and use this, and same thing. Let's see, hold on. I'm gonna add this to my swatches, add the CMYK swatch. There we go. And then select this, do that same swatch. So now, again, I've tied it all even back into my photo. Do File, Save As. I'm gonna name this Yoga Ad. And save. And I am going to export a PDF, high quality PDF. And we can look at it without the grid, because we can see the grid here. But when we look, we can still see that we've got a grid layout here, even without seeing those lines. So anyways, I hope that this is helpful for you to put together those assignments this week. I can't wait to see your designs. Have a great rest of your day.